but find someone with Scorpio and Gemini placements in their chart. Oh my God. And they're a girl. This is a FBI level detective. This is the CIA. This is the lead CIA agent. You know what I mean? This is the head of the CIA, actually. Actually, who created the CIA? Let's look it up. Good, my little yappers. Welcome to Yap Therapy. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And we're just going to start this off strong with the latest Pluto and Aquarius news. Well, news to me and news to you, because it should be important, because the censorships are starting. The censorships are starting, and this is what's happening, and it's pissing me off. So you guys know I've been on my reading shit for a while now, and I've been obsessed with my Kindle for a couple years now. Come to find out, Amazon basically, and if you didn't know, Amazon owns Kindle, right? So I had no idea that when you actually buy the books on Kindle, it's actually not ownership. You're kind of, I guess you're borrowing them in a sense. You basically don't own the books. I guess Amazon has or owns a license to them. So basically, if Amazon loses that license, you lose the book, blah, 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 which I had no idea. I think that's ridiculous. Like, we're paying money for it. We should own it. Prior to February 26th, essentially, you had this option to go on Amazon and you could download your book because you bought it, right? So you could download it. You could essentially have that book on your computer. You could have it on your hard drive. You know, there was a way for you to own that book. And now, after February 26, 2025, they got rid of that feature. And it's really funny because I feel like they were very hush-hush about it. I actually learned about it on February 27th, so it was way too late for me. And a day late, and it pissed me off. It pissed me off so much, actually, because you would think they would send you emails, you would think they would tell you these things, but it's almost like they didn't want you to know, and that shit pisses me off. And if you are new here, or if you don't know what's happening in America, or if you don't know about Project 2025, one of the things that this stupid-ass government is trying to implement with Project 2025 is censoring books. And if you don't know anything about history, that is how it starts. You can literally rewrite history by censoring books. And trust me, a lot of these governments, they want to censor a lot of the books that are out there, especially any books that have to do with the revolution. And let me tell you, a lot of fantasy books are based off of corrupt governments. You know what I mean? Are based off of corrupt leaders and dictators and how the people come together to take over, you know, this unjust government, right? So that is like the basis of a lot of these fantasy books. So the fact that they're trying to, and let me not even play, a lot of these, I would say, spicy books, they're trying to get rid of those too, but not just obviously fantasy books and spicy books. They're just trying to censor a lot of books. That's one of the things they're trying to implement with Project 2025, and it's crazy. You know, because you hear about this shit, right? You hear about this shit happening, and you're like, oh, it's not going to happen, blah, 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 blah. But you have to understand that history, when it repeats itself, there was always a time when people didn't take it seriously. There was always a time where you tell yourself, oh, it's not going to get that far, until you're in it and it does get that far. So I'm not trying to fearmonger, but like, this is one of the ways that I got slapped in the face, basically, with the truth of how everything is going down and how fast it's all happening. And I remember when I read that they are planning on banning a lot of books and, you know, censoring them, I told myself, I was like, you know what, whatever, because like I have my Kindle, I have my books on there. And one of the things I love about my Kindle is that I don't have to have physical books with me everywhere. I don't have to, you know, make room for physical books because I have hella books on my Kindle and I just don't have that much room in my apartment for books right now. Like, honestly, my goal in life is to have a beautiful home, and for my man knows this, is to have a library in that home. Just have a room that's just for, you know, my books, and it's just like a vibe in there. But I am not there yet, you know? So a Kindle is like amazing for me because I don't have to buy the physical books because I don't have room for it. So I remember when I learned about the censorship shit, I was like, well, fuck them. But at least I have my books on my Kindle, blah, 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 right? And then when I heard about this too late, it just hit me. I'm like, wow, of course they're implementing this, because guess what? Now that you can't download it, that means at any point in time when these bans go into place, they can literally remove the books that they don't want you to have from your Kindle. Or they can go to certain books and change the verbiage of those books. You know, they can do that. They have the right to do that. if these laws go into effect. And it pissed me off. It pissed me off so bad because how dare they? Like, this is 2025 and we're still dealing with this shit. Like, history is literally repeating itself, and I'll be damned. I'll be damned if they take away my books. Like, actually, I will be pissed. Pissed about a lot of things, but when this happened, I was like, oh, they're really, really doing it. I think Jeff Bezos is very much, you know, in cahoots with our ridiculous government right now. You know what I mean? They're definitely planning shit. Amazon is such a big company. It has so much power, obviously, and a lot of people use Kindle. So I think it's crazy that they got away with doing this, and it really was not talked about as much as I thought it would be. Like, seriously, it really was not, and it pissed me off, and it just gave very much Pluto and Aquarius because the censorships are starting, you guys. It's starting. Pluto and Aquarius digital censorships are starting. And I just want you guys to have your eyes open. Have your eyes open. But also, I think it's a balance of keep your head on straight and don't let the fear of everything that's happening take over, because your ultimate priority right now is you and your health and your wealth and, you know, your ability to show up in your life and make yourself happy as much as you can. Because right now there are so many external forces trying to break us down, and it's gonna be hard. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what, it's gonna be hard, and everyone you know is probably going through it and is feeling this pressure, this almost like this dark cloud is just following our society, our country, whatever, right? So I just want you to have good practices in place where you can calm yourself down, because this really triggered me. Like, a lot of things are triggering me, but this, because like it really did affect me on a personal level, it just really set me off because it just made me feel gross. It just pissed me off because it just felt like this was one step into a future where our voices will be taken away, our ability to read what we want to read will be taken away. Like, I just think it's disgusting, it's gross, I hate it. But also it opened my eyes even more to what is happening. And yeah, you know, like I said, you need to do what you can to stay calm even though crazy shit is happening in our world, in our country. But also keep one eye open because they're really trying us. And I full-heartedly believe the power rests with us, the people. There's more of us. But if we are ignoring the problem, or if we're just telling ourselves, well, it's not happening to me, or it's not affecting my group right now, you know what I mean? That's what they want you to think. You know, that's always what they want you to think. If you think about history, and when shit played out like it's playing out right now in America in the past, every group thought that they were safe until they weren't. You know what I mean? So just keep your eyes open into what's happening. And obviously, because we're in the digital age, it's going to affect us digitally. You know what I mean? A lot of censorship is going to be happening digitally, right? Because in the past, obviously, when we were dealing with situations like this where the government was corrupt and trying to take over, there was no media to this extent. You know, the internet didn't exist. So they have a whole demon that they're dealing with, you know, the government, because the media and the internet and, you know, people have this sort of community online. And that is probably what they're going to attack first. Like, that gives very much Pluto and Aquarius energy. So just be aware of that and form your communities online or form your communities in person so you're aware of what they're trying to do. Like, don't keep your eyes closed. And I think that's ultimately the message that I'm trying to say, is that find that balance between remaining as calm as you can and doing the things you need to do to make your nervous system feel okay. But also don't be blind to what is happening, because when you're choosing to be blind, that is when you're turning away from your community. And I think that will be the most regret that you'll ever have in the future. Do a wellness check on your community. You know what I mean? You have to care about your people, even if they don't look like you, even if they have a different sexual orientation than you. Like, even if it's not affecting you, who's to say it's not going to affect you in the future? And just have empathy. If it's not affecting you, why would you still not care? Like, that's what I don't understand. So I just really wanted to rant real quick about, Pluto and Aquarius and how it's starting. Now, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should get another e-reader or like look into other e-readers or what, because I don't know if I want to continue to support, you know, I don't know if I want to continue to support that because it really pissed me off. So if you have any e-reader recommendations or if you have any recommendations for me, comment it down below because y'all, it pissed me off. It pissed me off. Okay, and speaking of shit that pissed me off, you know what? Maybe this is just gonna be one of those rant sesh episodes, which I'm so okay with because catch me on any given day and I'll have 5 things to rant about. And I'll have 5 things that piss me off and I'll get passionate about it, like truly. Truly, there's just so much injustice in the world, and I am so happy to talk about it and release. And even if one person out there agrees with what I'm saying, that's all that matters. You know, as I talked about in the other episodes, I'm actively working on being more authentic and not feeling like I have to censor myself to make everyone happy. Because I truly believe the more authentic you are and the more comfortable you are sharing your truth, the faster people that are meant to be in your life, or if the faster people that are meant to be part of your community will gravitate towards you. Because the more specific you are with who you are, what you believe in, what you don't like, the easier it will be to, you know, pull in the energy of people that are like-minded. Whereas if you are always giving general responses and you're saying shit that makes everyone happy and you're not really going under the surface, you know, if you're always politically correct, of course you're going to make a lot of people happy, but they don't really have that connection to you. They don't have that soul-fulfilling, deep connection to you because you're not really putting yourself out there and you're not really saying what's on your mind and what's on your heart. And the more you do that, though, you also have to be prepared for people to give you hate comments, to just dislike you, not even just online, like in real life too. Like the more you have to be prepared with people that clash with you because you're being more honest and authentic. And I think it's, you know, it's courageous. So I'm trying to be more courageous. I actively want to be more authentic. So I'm going to say what I want to say and I'm going to say it with my chest. And, you know, I think when I do that, the people that, you know, stay here and the people that come here are the people that I want in this community. You know what I mean? So let's get into it. I obviously love watching reality TV and I love Bravo. I love all reality TV, but Bravo is like, you know, my holy mecca. Like that is God tier for me, right? And one of the things that I have always noticed, and it's not just with reality TV, but because I watch reality TV and I follow the reality TV accounts like Bravo or whatever on social media, when I'm watching my shows, obviously they put snippets online on social media and I can't help but want to see what people are saying. Like if I feel some type of way about an episode or about a storyline, I love going, you know, seeing the snippet that they posted on TikTok or Instagram and reading the comments, right? Just to see what the community is saying. Do people agree with what I'm thinking? Do they disagree? It's fun, right? And as you can imagine, most of the fans, most of the watchers of said reality TV shows are women. Women and the gays, right? Obviously, there's some straight guys, but mostly it's women and the gays. And I have noticed that whenever there is something popping off with a woman or whatever, even if it's a new girl on a show, the comment section is a whole mess. The comment section is so mean. And you guys, there will be straight men on these shows that have been acting a fool for 10 plus seasons, that are in their 40s. And women have so much grace for them in these comments. Women don't call them out. But let me tell you something. If there is a new girl on the scene, or even if it's just a girl that's been there for a while and she fucks up a little bit, or even if they just don't like her new hair, whatever, they are so ruthless in these comments to the point where I go on there to see if we're giggling about the same shit, but then I see Becky from Minnesota or I see Martha from fucking Tennessee, all these boy moms that are just fucking assholes commenting horrible, horrible shit. Like, for example, I'm watching this show called Southern Charm, right? And there's this new girl on the scene, and she did her first Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, which is basically this late night show for reality TV stars, where after their episode airs, they come on to this, you know, late night show with Andy Cohen, and they talk about the episode, they talk about the storyline, they play these games, blah, 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 right? So she just had her first appearance on this show, right? And they just posted it on Instagram, and I was like, oh my God, like she looks so good, she looks so bomb, like I love her dress. I go to the comments. Most of the freaking comments are just these people being haters. And it's women, you guys. It's freaking women. And it pisses me off. The comments are like, ew, what is she wearing? Ooh, she's been around. All because like she's dated 2 guys on this show. It literally showed her dating 2 different guys on this show. And like just saying she's doing too much, all this shit. And it pisses me off because it just feels so low vibrational and it's just giving hater energy. And what really pisses me off, actually, it's deeper than all of this. It has to do with shame. I think women, we need to do better. I know the cards that we have been dealt in the society that has been run by the patriarchy for many, many years, but your hate and resentment towards other women is so infuriating, and it makes me so sad for you. And I'm not talking to you, I'm not saying you're like that. When I'm saying you, I'm talking to these weird women, these weird girls. And it's just annoying because your shame, your self shame and your inability to love yourself and have grace for yourself and to be sex positive, it is literally bleeding into every other woman's life in this society because you're so judgy and because you hate yourself so much. You have so much nasty shit to say towards other women. And it pisses me off because as if we don't have enough shit to worry about when it comes to men, right? As if we don't have enough shit to worry about when it comes to the society and just this country right now trying to take our rights away. And yet still, there are so many women, there are so many girls that are just waiting to talk shit about another girl, to bring her down, to just make her feel inferior, slut shame her. And it pisses me off because I thought we were so past that. And maybe, just maybe, it's because it's Instagram. And I know Instagram, most of the demographic for Instagram is like these boomers and these Midwest moms. Like a lot of these comments are just like these weirdos. Like the comment section is a mess on Instagram for real. And I honestly want therapy for you and love for you because again, you have so much self-shame, and thank God I now understand more than ever the shit that you spew out is really how you feel about yourself. How much grace you have towards other people is how much grace you give to yourself. But it still really irks me when I see it, when I notice it, when I see how much of a pattern it is. Like they give so much grace to men who are doing 10 times more vile shit than these women who are just existing and being pretty, maybe fucking up once or twice. But when it comes to the men, oh my God, they give them so much grace and it just pisses me off. And I just had to rant about it. And I don't know, thank God, because you attract who you are, you attract your tribe. And even just my family, like I am just so grateful that my family, that the women in my family are not haters. Because I have heard enough stories, about people that have weird sisters or moms that are like really judgmental or are in competition with them or, you know what I mean? And that shit even grosses me out more. You know what I mean? And I hate to sit here and have this rant about women because listen, I support women's wrongs and rights, as the great Serena said from Love Island. I really do, but at the end of the day, I feel like there is a lot of work that needs to be done when it comes to our interpersonal relationships, us women, with each other, because I just genuinely can't take it. I can't take that we have this common enemy of men, and I'm not saying all men, but the men that want to take our rights away, the men that don't view us as equals. But to have each other as enemies is just disgusting. And I think a lot of women really, really need to dig deep and figure out why. Because, there's a why of why they have this much shame when it comes to accepting themselves, when it comes to expressing themselves. I think a lot of women, especially older generations too, they feel like they had to, make themselves smaller and to silence themselves and to not have a voice and to not have a personality. You know what I mean? So it triggers them when they see other women or other girls have this confidence, this ability to express themselves and to be mean. That's another thing. That's another thing I've learned through reality TV, because you guys, truly, reality TV is an intellectual endeavor because you're watching people interact with each other. You're watching conflict resolution. You're watching different personalities have different takes on the same situation, right? It's so fascinating and it's so interesting to watch. So I just think it's so funny because, for example, there's this other couple, right? They just broke up. And the girl, she just changed her mind about what she wanted. Her name is Paige DeSorbo. And she just changed her mind about what she wanted. She was in a relationship. And at the beginning of that relationship, she was like in her, late, mid 20s, and she said she wanted to get married, have kids in her 30s, blah, 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 blah. As she got older, her career started really, growing and blowing up, and she's killing it. So now she wants to push that back. So now they broke up because they wanted different things. The way they have villainized her, and I actually love her because she's a Scorpio. So she is standing 10 toes down, and she doesn't really give a fuck what anyone thinks. And I love that, because you have to be a strong individual to be on reality TV, I think. And especially if you're going through a public breakup on reality TV with a man that is also on reality TV, and they're just villainizing the fuck out of her, right? They're saying that she's mean to him. She's always been so mean to him. When all I see is her just standing 10 toes down, calling him out when he needs to be called out. But if a man were to do it, no one would say anything. Everyone would just be quiet. Because that's what a man does. He leads. He's assertive. He knows what he wants. He's confident. But if a woman does it, oh, she's a bitch. She's so annoying. She's so mean to him. Why is she so rude to him? Please. The double standards piss me the fuck off. And yeah, I just genuinely feel like as a society, a lot of women need to look at themselves and ask themselves why they have so much grace and understanding for men and none towards their fellow women. You know what I mean? It really, really pisses me off, because why is it that we need to be the strong ones? Why is it that we need to be perfect? Why is it that we can't make mistakes? Why is it that we're sluts for dating 3 people? You know what I mean? Like, why is it? Why is it? And I wholeheartedly also believe that a lot of it comes from jealousy. It really does. And I'm not saying that they want to be the person, but I think a lot of these older generations, maybe they're jealous of what they couldn't experience, of what they couldn't have when they were that young, and how society was different at that time. And I'm not saying society is so much better now, because we still deal with this shit, but it was definitely worse in the past. So I think a lot of it also comes from this, this envy of like, why do you feel so free? Why do you think you can get away with that? And guess what? Let me tell you something. I'm not even sure. Probably the people that I want to get this message are not watching it, but still I need to get it out. Let me tell you something. You can be in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and if you realize you finally want to have your voice again and you're sick and tired of dimming your light for a man, a mediocre man, it's never too late. You know what I mean? A lot of people resent themselves and resent their partner because they feel like their youth was given to someone that didn't appreciate them. Their youth was given to someone that told them to simmer down and to be quiet and to only speak when they're spoken to. You know what I mean? And it's not just America. It's a global thing, especially in other countries. Let me tell you, especially in the Middle East. So it just pisses me off. And yeah, I just kind of had to pop off real quick. And I'm so tired of going onto comment sections and seeing women tear other women apart. It really grosses me out. It really grosses me the fuck out. I saw this tweet that was by Earth Dawn Baby, one of my favorite astrologers actually on Twitter, and I haven't been on Twitter in so long. So you know what's funny? I used to make fun of Instagram for posting tweets, right? Because it was funny. When I was on Twitter, that was my number one app, I would literally clown on Instagram, being like, you guys just take screenshots of tweets and you put it on Instagram. Like, get a fucking life. Like, get on fucking Twitter, you losers. And then when Twitter became X, and I hated it, and I got off, now I'm grateful for the tweets that make it to Instagram. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Life has a way of humbling you. Never say, could it be me? Never, ever, ever. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Never say the words, could it be me? Because I'm telling you right now, the universe, God, whoever you believe in, has a way of showing you exactly what you think would never happen to you. Why you could never be in that situation. You know what I mean? So be careful. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you think you're above. There's like having boundaries and knowing your worth. And then also there is like being so arrogant, thinking that certain situations could never happen to you. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I saw this tweet on Instagram. I'll post it here. And yours truly, Sarah, if you're new here, I'm a Scorpio sun, Gemini moon, and this couldn't be more truthful. Like, this is tea. This is really tea. And I think it's a blessing and a curse because, let me tell you why. If I want to know something, I'm going to know something. If I want to find something out, I'm going to find it out. If the world wants me to see something, I'm going to see it. I'm going to peep it. I'm going to know everything about it. And guess what? I'm going to have the time and energy and the mental clarity and the depth and the intensity and the passion and the drive, right? To figure shit out, right? To research, to learn more about it via other people, right? Because I have those connections, that Gemini moon, right? And then my Scorpio gets obsessed, so I can really get into the details of it, right? But the negative aspect of this is sometimes you shouldn't know some shit. Sometimes some shit shouldn't be found out. Sometimes what you want to find out is going to hurt your feelings, right? You have to have good self-control to tell yourself there's no reason for me to go down this path. This is a waste of time. Right? Especially when I was younger and I wanted to like see people's social media or whatever, right? Even though I knew it would hurt my feelings, I had no control over myself. Like I was like, this is going to hurt my feelings, but I'm going to find shit out. I'm going to do some research. These hoes is doing research, right? And yeah, again, it would hurt my feelings. And honestly, they say like women, like we are actual detectives. Truly, we are when we want to find some shit out. But find someone with Scorpio and Gemini placements in their chart. Oh my God. And they're a girl. This is a FBI level detective. This is the CIA. This is the lead CIA agent. You know what I mean? This is the head of the CIA, actually. Actually, who created the CIA? Let's look it up. Okay, so the director of the Central Intelligence Agency right now is John Ratcliffe. Okay, John Ratcliffe. What's your sign? Okay, John Ratcliffe is October 20th. Okay, 3 days before me. I bet you he has to have some Scorpio in that chart. Boom, Mercury and Scorpio. And guess what? Moon and Virgo. Another Mercurial. So yeah, if you got Virgo, Scorpio, or Gemini in your chart, and listen, even better if you got multiple in the same chart, which this dude has and I have. If you have, like I said, Virgo, Gemini, Scorpio in your chart, you are a natural born detective, right? And this just further proved that, as I said, he is the freaking director of the CIA, right? So if you have those, signs in your chart, you can figure shit out easily, and you are always, always, always seeking truth. And I would say Sagittarius too. And actually, I think he had Venus in Sagittarius because Sagittarius is also the truth seeker. So when you have any of those signs in your chart, and better if you have a combo of those signs in your chart, you are someone that is going to naturally seek the truth and find the truth and do the research that is necessary to figure shit out. Research that other people either don't have the time or energy for and just don't have the eye for. You have to have certain eye for certain details to be able to piece shit together and figure it out. If you are getting, multiple sources of information, sure, anyone can get information, but it's up to your mind to be able to put these pieces together and ultimately create the evidence or the story that is necessary for you to prove to yourself what you originally thought before you did the research, right? Because sometimes you just have an inkling, you have a feeling, but you don't have proof. And if you do research, and if you put the pieces together, then the proof is there and you can really, really feel validated towards this inkling and this intuition, these intuitive thoughts that you were getting about a situation. So yeah, I just wanted to say that real quick. I'm constantly searching for the truth, and you're like, what truth? All truths. Like every single truth there is to know. Like this is why I also love conspiracy theories, because I think it's funny. It's funny that conspiracy theories are called conspiracy theories because so many conspiracy theories actually were proved to be true, right? So they're like, how can you not believe? I'm not saying all conspiracy theories because some of them are fucking crazy. But who am I to say? Maybe it'll come true. But for the most part, a lot of conspiracy theories actually ended up being true, right? So how can you, as someone that doesn't believe in conspiracy theories, like what is your argument towards that? What is your argument towards, all the people that tell you a lot of these conspiracy theories later in the future, it came out that they were true, right? So it's the government's way of kind of confusing you and making you feel crazy for tapping into the truth and figuring it out before the general public, right? And it just all comes back to not believing everything you see. And I think when you're a natural seeker of truth, you always are skeptical of everything that you hear and everything that you see because you know there's layers to it. And when you have one source of information and that's all you're going off of, it's really, really easy to be fooled, I just have to say. And it's funny, I think my Libra Mercury adds into this, what I'm about to say. When someone is talking, and let's say there's two opposing arguments, right? Or there is multiple opposing arguments. It's funny because the first person I listen to, their take, I'm like, wow, okay, yeah, I'm on your side. I get it. And then the next person will go and I'm like, wow, I'm on your side. I get it. And then the third person will go, I'm like, wow, I really hear what you're saying. Again, that's my Libra Mercury because I really, really, really see all sides of the argument. I understand. I put myself in people's shoes. So as I've learned, when I've gotten older and I've really tapped into this Libra energy, I've realized, okay, this is my superpower. And you hear, people's stories, it's very easy to believe them, especially if they're great storytellers, especially if they're really good at making their argument, right? But always be willing to hear other people's sides, right? Because someone can just be a really eloquent speaker, right? And you don't want to fall into the trap of believing someone's story just because they're a good bullshitter, right? Always also tap into the facts of the situation and the evidence that is provided. And I think a lot of times as people, we believe the person that we feel closest to, or not even that, because I would want you to believe the person you're closest to, because hopefully you have people around you that are trustworthy. But let's say you're watching something or the news or whatever, shit comes out. Always be open-minded to everything. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to just believe someone just because they're really, really good at talking. A lot of serial killers were great talkers. A lot of serial killers were charming as hell, right? That doesn't mean that they were trustworthy or that they were right? So the message I'm really trying to say as your Scorpio sun, Gemini moon bestie is to always, always do your own research and don't just believe the first person that speaks out about something, right? Don't just believe that person, because if that's the only viewpoint you have, of course you're going to go based off of that, right? Always hear out every single angle of the story and every single person that wants to add to the story and all sides of the story before you make your final decision of who you trust and who you believe, especially again in this Pluto and Aquarius time, in this Pluto and Aquarius transit, right? During this crazy time in our country. Be very, 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 very careful of what you believe and always, always, always be open-minded to all sides of the story. Okay, on to another post I saw, which was criminal, actually. It's absolutely criminal, and I'll tell you why. So, Evergreen Cappy said on Twitter, date somebody who has the same Venus sign as your moon sign. You're welcome. And I love when people have takes like this because it's just fun to talk about. And, synastry is different for everyone, right? Always be open-minded, even if you're not traditionally compatible with people. I always say that. But this one's interesting, and I usually agree with this, right? But that doesn't mean that if your partner's, Venus sign isn't your moon sign, you're not going to work, because mine isn't, and I love my man. And I know a lot of people that do. But this one is good, and usually I would agree. I think that would be a beautiful, beautiful conjunction in synastry. But I was thinking about it for me, right? I was like, okay, so you want me as a Gemini moon to, and listen, we're playing as if I'm single, right? And I'm not. But I was thinking, so you want me as a Gemini moon to date a Gemini Venus? So you want me to get cheated on? You want me to be with a hoe? You want me to be with someone that's on the streets on the regular? Please. It actually, and listen, if you're a Gemini Venus, don't get your feelings hurt. This is just like kind of the funny bit that we have, the astrology community we have together, is the fact that we have this inside joke of like Gemini Venus kind of being a little hoe, right? And it's funny. It's funny because when you think about it, it's because Gemini in general obviously likes variety. So when you think of Venus, the sign that is associated with relationships and partnerships and love, when you put Gemini and Venus together, right? it creates someone that needs a lot of variety. It's really hard for them to just stick with one person, you know? So that's why they get this bad rep, right? In the streets of being a little hoe, of being all over the place, of needing multiple partners, blah, 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 blah. That is where it comes from. And again, if you have a Gemini Venus, that doesn't mean that that's you. You could very well have a Cancer placement in your chart, a Taurus placement in your chart that makes you so loyal, that just makes you want one person. Good on you. But this is the rep that Gemini Venus has, right? So it was really funny. I read this and I was like doing the math. I'm like, okay, so they would have wanted me to be with a Gemini Venus. Okay, yeah, please miss me with that bullshit. Like, and I took that personally. You know what I mean? I took that shit so personally. So if you're a Gemini moon and you see this, I am telling you right now, don't do it. No, do what you want. You know what I mean? It's a free world for now. No, it's not funny. This is not a laughing matter. You know what I mean? Our freedom is not a laughing matter. But we have to laugh to not cry, right? So yeah, if you're a Gemini moon, you know, and you're like, should I be with a Gemini Venus? Do so at your own discretion, right? Be aware of what that might entail and what that might bring. And guess what? If you are someone that is dating and you find out your partner has a Gemini Venus, all you have to do is just ask them. Just keep it real. And a lot of problems would be solved if people were comfortable asking the hard questions, and also if the other party was honest when answering these questions, right? But the first step is you feeling comfortable enough to ask people, especially if they have a Gemini Venus, do you see yourself wanting to be in a monogamous relationship? Do you see yourself wanting to settle down? If you are into someone, do you typically just, you know, focus on them, or do you have a wandering eye, or do you need to be stimulated by multiple people at once? No, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So just be aware of that. Ask the right questions. And again, it's not a done deal. Every Gemini Venus ever is not a hoe, right? But it can be likely. So be aware. And if you, for anyone watching, whatever your moon sign is, have you dated anyone that has the same Venus sign as your moon sign? And has it worked out before? Because I want to know. I think that is truly a nice aspect of synastry if you do have a Venus and moon conjunction. So let me know your thoughts on that, because it made me giggle. First it pissed me off, and then it made me giggle, and then I felt like I had to share with the class. So that's what we do in YAP therapy. We always share with the class. We always yap with the class. So yap it down below. Let me know how you feel about that. I saw this post on Instagram by Evolving Knowledge. I'll post it here, and it said, hustling is canceled. From now on, we are relaxing our nervous systems and getting into energetic alignment with the highest outcome. And this very much gave me actually Pisces season energy, and also Saturn and Pisces energy. And by the way, happy Pisces season. I know things are rough right now, and it's not like Pisces season, again, is always the easiest. I think a lot of times it's about reflection, right? And right now with the state of the world, it can feel really heavy, and you can probably feel even more tired than normal. I think Pisces season in general makes us all very tired. So if you're sleeping more, if you need more naps, if you're just overall more tired, do not feel shame for that. Do not be hard on yourself for that, especially you Capricorns and Scorpios and Virgos, right? Like, it's okay. Do your thing, sleep more, relax. It's fine. You deserve it. So yeah, when I read that, it just really hit for me, because I think hustling has been canceled. I think we've all been making fun of hustle culture for a while now, but I think more than ever, again, with what's going on around us at this given moment, I think it's really, really important, as I said at the beginning of this podcast, to tap into the needs of your nervous system and relaxing your nervous system. Because if your nervous system is not relaxed, if your spiritual self, your spiritual body is not relaxed and it's not at ease, you are going to have a harder time being in alignment with your highest good, with the highest outcome of where your life can take you, where your day can take you, where your week can take you. It's going to be harder for you to align with that, for your energy to be a magnet towards things that are supposed to make you feel the best, right? So do yourself a favor and relax as much as you can, all the time, but especially during this Pisces season, because you would actually be surprised, and I'm giving this advice to myself right now too. So Sarah, while you're editing, don't forget, you would be surprised at how much good can happen to your life if you were to just take a step back and stop trying so hard. And I know that sounds weird because you're like, what do you mean, Capricorn rising? Like, aren't you supposed to try? Aren't you supposed to give it your all? Isn't that what Saturn is all about? And trust me, I know Saturn rules my chart. Saturn's my chart ruler, so I'm all about that. Ew, hustle. I'm all about that hard work, really, you know, putting in the work to get what you want because I think it feels good. But also, I think it's really, really important to leave room for the universe to surprise you. And when you relax your nervous system, right? When you're allowing the universe to surprise you, you're relaxing your nervous system because you're kind of giving away some control. You're telling the universe, listen, I did this, but I'm going to give you this much to do what you need to do, right? It's that affirmation that I said in the other episode, which was, universe, show me how good it can get, right? And when you give that energy and when you give that control away, you're really, really allowing your nervous system to take a step back. And you're telling your body, you're telling your soul, all right, I did my thing. Let's sit back and let it unfold. Let's see what can happen. Like, my life is a movie. Let's see what the universe wants to do for me. Like, let that happen for you. Because I think at a certain point, there's only so much you can do. And if you're doing shit, but it's not the shit that the universe wants you to do, you're actually putting in so much energy and you're tiring yourself out towards an outcome that isn't even the best for you, that isn't even the highest outcome for you. So what is the point of tiring yourself out and running yourself dry towards something that's not even supposed to be the thing that is going to make you the happiest, right? So allow the universe to surprise you, relax your nervous system, and honestly, just expect the best, right? Like, that's not a hot take, lucky girl syndrome, but I genuinely think less is more. I'm learning this as I get older. I think when I was younger, I thought I was lazy, but I think as a teenager, in your young 20s, whatever, I don't think I was actually ever lazy. Like, maybe as a teenager, but I think we were all lazy as teenagers, no? But, you know, even college, I was working 2 jobs, you know, going to school full time. And then afterwards, I felt like I had to prove myself. So I think it's always like a balance of like, you know, when you're growing up, you're like, I don't want to be lazy. Now I'm going to work hard. I'm going to hustle. But now I'm kind of coming back to this realization of less is more, right? Like, do what you need to do in order to feel good about yourself. Like, obviously apply yourself somewhat. But also give room for the universe to move you around, for shit to happen to surprise you, for serendipitous shit to happen into your life. Whereas if you're controlling every second of every day and you're hustling every second of every day, you're not giving any room for the universe to take you to the places that you need to be, to bring the people into your life that are meant to be into your life, you know? All right, you guys, that is the end of this episode. I hope you guys had a nice time chatting with me during YAP therapy. If you enjoyed any of the topics discussed, comment it down below. Let me know how you feel. Please do it, because I know a lot of you guys watch, but you're not commenting, and I really, really want to hear what you have to say. It makes me so happy when you guys comment, because then I really feel like it's a two-way conversation. It's a two-way street. So let me know how you feel. Let me know what you liked about this episode, and I love you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, like the video. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leave me a review on that app, or come to the YouTube channel and comment what your thoughts, because I love to hear it. So have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, you guys.